It's a good shackle to have. Thank you, yoke of capitalism. But
It is better to be house poor than regular poor,
yep,
fundamentally.
I've had sleep for dinner. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a fun time.
The words you join into. Put your hands together.
Hey, my name is Jeff. You're with me and a guest today to talk about Extra Life. More specifically, what I'm going to do on Saturday, November 8th, in my 5th year of Extra Life well, I guess we're going to talk about what might prevent me from accomplishing the 3rd annual Ghostnola Industries Cardio Souls Charity Variation Guaranteed World Record attempt. But first, what's Extra Life?
What is Extra Life? Extra Life is a program of Children's Miracle Network hospitals with over 100,000 participants. Since its inception in 2008, Extra Lifers from across the globe have raised more than $132 million for local member children's hospitals. Money raised through Extra Life supports member children's hospitals, funding critical treatments or pediatric medical equipment, making sure that hospitals can provide charitable care to those in need, and specialized services not covered by insurance. The money Jeff is raising this year is going towards his local Children's Miracle Network hospital, RWJ Barnabas Health Children's Specialized Hospital in Mountainside, New Jersey. Children's Specialized Hospital, part of the Children's Health Network at RWJ Barnabas Health, is the nation's leading provider of inpatient and outpatient care for children and young adults facing unique healthcare challenges, from chronic illnesses and complex physical disabilities like brain and spinal cord injuries to a full scope of developmental, behavioral, and mental health concerns. But enough about that. What's going on in the really important thing, video games? Jeff?
Uh, okay, we're
I
back.
figured you weren't asking me.
No, no, no. I have some questions. We'll get into those. But hey, Doc's here today because let me just read this exactly. In a former life, Doc, I was an educator. So if somebody gives me a direct quote, I want to cut them due. I am a reasonable and even-headed video gamesman with a reasonable, if not particularly large following, which is true. And it means you are clearly and inextricably responsible for Cardio Souls now. So, as I said, teacher brain here, it still kind of flips on. I've been removed 5 years now from that, which has done wonders for my mental and physical health. We're going to talk about what I'm going to do to my physical health, though, which might question other parts of my socio-emotional well-being here. So I will talk fast. I will talk over. I apologize, which is why, as always with the students, if you need clarification, it is always okay to interrupt me and encouraged, frankly.
Here we go. Performance for you.
If you're watching this video, like just pause it. You can come back to Extra Life. We still got time. Go find any of those where Doc plays Dark Souls 2. He's just gonna walk a dog on that game, and it's fantastic. It's good. It's real good. Well, below, maybe I'll try and find one that I like and throw it in.
If you can if the problem is that all of my VODs are still on an external hard drive, and I have not uploaded most of them anywhere.
The words you join into. Put your hands together.
But you did bring up something that I really liked, and I agree with it. Especially might be surprising, given to those who know me, that I have thousands of hours in Dark Souls, the various formats on various platforms. Quote, I personally think Dark Souls 1 has aged the worst out of every From Software game with Souls in the title. I agree, and I'd like you to elaborate, please.
100% stand by that. And in my perspective, I'm a big game feel guy, where the general feeling of the gameplay of a game really matters a lot to me. Where if something is awkward or feels strange or anything like that, I notice that immediately. And there's some elements that are specific to Dark Souls 1 that aren't in the other games, including Demon Souls, weirdly enough, that really stand out to me as strange and kind of unpleasant feeling parts of going back to that game. The number one being you can only dodge in 4 directions in that game. It's just back, forward, left, right. That's it. That is fine in the case of what Dark Souls 1 asks you to do. Actually, it's not like a problem on that end. but it makes going back and playing it again feel strange. You also can't sprint while you're locked onto something, which that was something that they weirdly removed from Demon Souls. Demon Souls had the ability to do that. You can't do that in Dark Souls 1. And just in general, it's a slow game, like compared to all of the rest of them in its own sort of way. Uh, Technically, Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 have like almost exactly the same like speed of swinging a weapon or whatever. It's just where the startup versus finishing end is on it. There's less startup in 2, but more recovery, and the vice versa in Dark Souls 1, for example. It's just a bunch of little things about that like add up to, I think 1 just feels the worst to play, in my opinion. And that's with the fact that 2 feels kind of strange, which has to do with like the way that it's the movement like gate is on a controller, where it doesn't have a just 8-way gate on it. It actually has a two half circle gates. But I got used to that. It's whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
I could talk about that particular topic on this for a good half hour if you wanted me to, but I don't think we want to.
I mean, we could. I mean, I think it sets up perfectly, though, you know, why I do still play Dark Souls. You know, how it's aged. It's, you got to come up with ways to keep it interesting for yourself, which I'm sure
Yes.
us and anybody watching knows of, because you've probably seen challenge runs or, you know, GDQ runs or whatever. You know, you're going for the broken and the goofy. I really like the challenging ones that are about physically assaulting the player rather than an in-game choice. They can intermingle. They often do. And if I recall correctly, was it or was it not Dark Souls 2 that you were wearing actual armor while playing once?
Yes, I beat all of Dark Souls 2 while wearing a suit of armor. That is a thing I did, in fact, do. And I even beat one of the game's extra bosses without getting hit.
Am I gonna do it? I fucking did it! Nice! While wearing a suit of armor! Hell yeah! Ha! Special death animation! No hits! While wearing a suit of armor! Ha! Ah! Woo! Sorry about that.
I wasn't wearing gauntlets for what it's worth. That's the one part that, having played other games while wearing gauntlets, let me tell you, that shit is hard. I probably couldn't do that with one of the Souls games. It's too much.
You know, you teed me up so perfectly, and you didn't know it, and I appreciate that. So we need to shift gears here, Doc. We gotta talk. We need to talk about how, if I've learned anything about myself or Dark Souls, we narrow it into what I call cardio souls, or how I decide to spend one day every year physically assaulting my own body in the name of charity while playing a video game using cardiovascular equipment. There's rules, and we're going to talk about the rules. And there's incentives, as a lot of marathons have. Yeah. I want to talk about an incentive first, because you set me up so well. And I'm going to clear up a little space, because I'm going to need a little bit of space, just a bit. Where can you go? You can go over here. That's fine.
From my perspective, that looked like you were about to just throw your keyboard into the trash, and that is extremely funny as an image to me.
If you want to clap, as we take you through this.
The challenge runs. Last year I had a big incentive. It was called Pain Mode. I'm sure you're familiar with Lisa. It was kind of a takeoff on that, except with, well, it was sad. It was sad. So, you know, I'm kind of an exercisey guy. You know, Ryudo and I had a good chat last year about, you know, being exercise dudes, things we like. So pain mode was what if I made the game harder because I'm gonna be on a cardio machine? You know, what if that's baby mode? That's easy game for babies. So we reached the incentive, and I had to weigh myself down. So I have a weighted vest, and there's little flaps, and you can add some nice little bricks into it. So I had this on my body to start.
Right.
And I also, oh geez, I have my leg weights. They're each, 5 pounds a clip. So I had these on me. So we got 10 pounds, right? Simple arithmetic, easy. And we have bricks for that weight vest. They're 3 pounds a pop. I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, there's more. I'm almost there. 8.
All right, hold on a second.
Yeah.
At 8, you were matching how much the auberk I was wearing while playing Dark Souls 2 was.
Oh my. Well, don't worry. 9.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
10. Yeah. So I had 30 pounds on my torso, and I had 10 on my ankles. Also, I was dressed as Ness for this because you get a little showmanship, for the kids. Not.
and of course, Ness famously was wearing exercise gear all the time.
Oh yeah, he was crazy for it. And not quite gauntlets, but I did have weighted gloves as well. So an extra 2 pounds, one for each hand.
Okay, so lighter than a pair of gauntlets.
Yes, but I was still
with manual dexterity too.
Yeah, and we got to remember, I was standing, so it's this was what Ryudo and I were getting on.
You're getting physically pulled down the whole time.
Yeah, gravity. It's the law.
Trust me, I know how that one feels. Again, I own a pair of gauntlets recreationally, so I've worn them with regularity. And let me tell you, just doing anything that's not just having them held down at your sides can be draining on your arms, earnestly. Yeah. Actually having to move them around is you're putting an extra 3 or so pounds on each hand, It's like that's your arm's a lever. Just all it is. Your arm is a lever, which means that anything at the very end of the lever is going to feel really heavy. Just how it is.
Yeah, and you also being a New England person, you're probably familiar with a roof rake. Now, I lived in Maine for a while, and I had a house and I had a roof rake because if you don't know, folks, sometimes when you're far enough north in Maine, and I was only in southern Maine, but I was still far enough north, if you don't pull the snow off your roof will collapse.
Yeah, they can get real heavy. There's a lot of snow up here.
Yeah. So I didn't tear my rotator cuffs, but the doctor did tell me they were really, 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 really beat up. So I had to do a bunch of PT for a while. So like, I'm really fighting from underneath here, but I did it. And I had some people concerned about pain mode because I did one test stream. So the rule of pain mode was every time I beat a boss, I can take 1 brick off. And then once the bricks are gone, I can take off both ankles, both gloves, which I felt was okay because making me completely not even weight-wise, that's not safe. You gotta at least be safe if you're being stupid. As safe as you can be. So people said, Jeff, I'm very concerned about you. So I added the $69 donation. And right before we started, my good buddy Donnie donated so that I would, and specifically said, please take the weights off your ankles. Which is smart because when I did the test run, it took me about an hour and a half to get all the weight off. My clothing was basically transparent. And then the next training session I broke the cardio machine I had been using. So it didn't like it. It was a little much for it. Shocking, I know, using things in the wrong way.
Yeah, adding an extra, 52 pounds to a machine that's probably not set to handle that.
Yeah, extra 1/4, 1/5-ish of me to it. Not a smart move. But I've never claimed to be a smart man, just determined. So there's rules, but I have, something that does kind of sum up what I do. This is from actress, podcastress, just future spouse, I don't know if they're married yet, to a trained clown. You can see I got excited to share that one. Miss Stevie Meadows. She was describing famous show Takeshi's Castle. I have applied this to teaching, and I feel it absolutely applies to this. You're going to get fucked up today. You're going to work for this money. And
I'm gonna tell you, I would not have been able to resist having an incentive to also put one back on.
you know, we'll get to why that wasn't there. Let's
No,
get.
I understand, but like there shouldn't be. I wouldn't have been able to resist. That's just all it is.
Yeah, that wasn't my choice. I'm gonna tell you about why it wasn't my choice. Okay. So here's our rules. Every game's got rules. Here's our rules for this game. All right. If I'm playing the game, I have to be using a stair stepper as my cardio machine of choice. So we're limiting moving parts. It is purely mechanical. There's, the hydraulic cylinders. I did have to build a rig around it to do some passive cooling with fans to kind of extend the life, because I was blowing O-rings in those things, because I was on it for at least, 6 to 8 hours is how long I'm using it for these. I hit like 40,000 steps last year. That was a bit. The rig also has one of the optical sensors like you'll see at museums. So when you go through, it'll tick up so you can keep track of the steps nice and easy. We got a little at the bottom of the screen LED counter for them, some sort of panache. Unless a cutscene's playing, I got to be in motion. However, I get a little too excited playing Dark Souls, and I forget that. And they will have to remind me, they be in my wonderful peanut gallery, Jeff, please stop. Jeff, you're still moving. If you've seen Forrest Gump when he's playing football, it's that. It's the Forrest stop turn. Yeah.
But I mean, also like the cutscenes in Dark Souls are skippable. I don't know how you'd resist being able to just immediately press skip every time.
I usually end up just getting to the point I want this over, and I just start mashing through. But it's to build in breaks as a just in case, All glitches are valid. It's Dark Souls 1.
Problem.
There's a lot of them. The first year, I played the Switch version. The second year, I played the PlayStation version. Now, that year, I was wearing these little 1-pound gloves. So those two versions, the home console ones, I think Xbox as well, the item dupe glitch, you just need the controller to do it. It's one of those get two menus at the same time. You just kind of squeeze in L1 and whatever your confirm button is. Great, love it. We're doing the PC this year. So if you're not familiar with the one in the PC, I'm going to have
Prepare to Die or remastered?
Remastered.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to use...
So there's a little bit of an extra layer there.
I'm going to use the mouse, and I have to use the controller at the same time while also stair-stepping.
Yes.
I can do this. The window is a bit tighter on PC than on console, so just on your own, it's a bit of a thing, as well as you add in the steps and the multi things. And I do have an adjustable desk that I will keep. I'll have the gallery, wheel it in, wheel it out. I've got this planned, my pit crew, as it were. But there's something else coming up next. It might make that a little bit harder, Doc. As soon as I defeat a boss, I have to do something. I mentioned taking the weights off. That was just for that incentive. There is a user-submitted donation-based beverage queue which will provide me with a drink that I must immediately consume.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. I've done this before.
I know you have. There's a reason you're here. Now, I'm at the mercy of the peanut gallery. It can be who's behind me. It can be who is watching. They've all taken advantage of me, and they've all been kind to me. So, I've had, Jeff, please drink water. Great.
No problem.
Yeah, I've had, Jeff, drink a Pepsi. Just one Pepsi. Awesome. Love it. Love a Pepsi. Let's take a sip of Pepsi. It's not actually soup. It's a Pepsi, I swear. Gatorade, Picari Sweat, things to rehydrate with. It's usually alcohol.
Usually alcohol.
It's usually alcohol.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's usually alcohol. Some of your friends have created drinks that I've had to put in my body.
Excellent. Well, I've got one right for you if you need something.
Don't, Doc, don't worry. You're gonna
See that right there? There might be visible barely between there. That is a box of Moxie over there. Okay, beautiful. All right, now take that. Take a spray of absinthe. Spray a thing with of that with absinthe.
Yeah.
Fill that about like a quarter of the way up with gin. A drop of rose water. Fill it the rest of the way with Moxie. Beautiful.
You're gonna want to see what else is in the trash bin.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I'm glad you're thinking, and I'll take multiple. Don't worry. I will hit you up for some recipes. But I
have just described what we ended up calling the Mox Lotus.
Nice. I think we can do some new math together, and I'm excited. 26 bosses in the game.
Yep.
If you're going full clear. Another incentive last year, I want to see the sad puppy cutscene. So I had to do the DLC, and I had to do the 4 Kings. I'll do 4 Kings easy. I love doing 4 Kings first, because you just need to be, poise works in Dark Souls 1 better than the others. That's, piece of piss. But that DLC, oofa. I did absolutely shoot Manus in the face with the bow from outside of his arena. No, I'm not. Just, I need it.
These are replacing the drinks.
So, hey, why fight Manus if you don't have to? Why be stupid? I'm smart. I have degrees in science.
Is that Manus?
That's Manus, baby!
That's him.
Fuck that! We ain't fighting him!
Oh, what?
Manus is a tough fight.
Yeah, I didn't have it in me.
Easily the hardest fight in Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, Calamite doesn't count. Not worth it. Waste of time. We're not Calamiting if we don't have to. But everybody else, effectively, I did have to fight, and it was a lot. It was a lot, because also, as people are donating for beverages, you got to keep going. 13 to 15, that's kind of the standard, I think. And here's why the adding weight doesn't come back on. The divine right of Midge, my dear wife, can and will alter any rules above, such as she deems needed for the safety of myself and those around me. So she's altered drinks.
Completely reasonable.
Yeah, she has to live with me, so she gets to say, no, you've done enough. And we respect
it. Is completely fair and reasonable to have a ripcord on any single thing that happens as an incentive as a streamer, because sometimes we make bad judgments.
I have never made a bad
judgment.
It's funny you talk about bad judgments, because I have last year's drinks. And I also have a selection of drinks. Let's go through last year's. I'll read the interesting ones as we get to them, and we can talk about it. All right, we started off nice and easy. The Hateful Highball. So the Hateful Highball is something I used to drink back when I lived in Portland, Maine. I thought I was something of a fancy guy. Here's what you do, Doc. You take some grapefruit juice, 2 shots. You take some orange juice.
Already pretty hateful. Going off of just grapefruit juice.
Yeah. We're going to bring up grapefruit juice again eventually. Don't worry. So 2 shots of grapefruit, not grape, grapefruit juice. 2 shots of orange juice and 1 shot of whiskey. Over ice if you want it,
It's a little bit screwdriver-like, a little bit,
Yeah.
almost.
It's got some tang. The screwdriver's a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, screwdriver's a little bit smoother. If you ever have grapefruit juice in something, it's gonna be less smooth usually. Yeah.
It's very
If you
true.
want the good version of that, get pomelo juice, and then you get the actual the good version of grapefruit juice, in my opinion.
It's funny you mention that, because number 2, my wife made a cocktail. I don't remember what she made, but she would absolutely say, "Why don't you just use pomelo?" I'd be like, "No, the terror is the point." Number 3, how familiar are you with home movies, the old TV show?
I mean, I've seen plenty of it, but I skew on the younger side.
That is okay.
As far as like the stream group goes, so I never actually watched a tremendous amount of it.
All right, so H. John Benjamin was the soccer coach. There's an episode where he decides to become the bartender, or a bartender. He goes to bartending school. And he starts to invent his own drinks, and this is one. It's called the Dirty Frenchman. You're going to take a shot of olive juice, and there's been some question amongst all of us, what is olive juice? And because Because
There's at least 2 awful answers to that question that I could think of right now.
you know what,
Olive Brine is the better of the 2.
you can tell me if what I have decided is the better one. So Coach McGurk's a bit of a degen. So I said he's taking a can of pitted black olives, opening it, and draining that out. That's what he's calling olive juice.
See, I think that's the preferable of the 2 because if you're using olive oil in a cocktail, I think you messed up.
I mean, yeah, that's coming out the rear. That's not a good
Oh
one.
yeah.
No.
hmm
And then 2 shots of wine, preferably a red wine.
Ooh,
It's really
Oh,
good.
okay.
I swear it's good. Nobody believes me.
genuinely.
It's good.
Okay.
It's the salt. The salt. I don't know. I like flavor.
Typically, I don't like the idea of adding salt to red wine because, like, then you're talking about cooking wine, And I'm not gonna go ahead and just down a bottle of Holland House, okay?
I mean, you could. Look, I've never engaged in carnival sideshow-esque feats of daring do, like, I don't know, drinking scope straight from a bottle before. Moving on. Jeez, drag me down. My good buddy, the famous monster, made a cocktail. Don't remember what it was. I'm sure it was a real nice, smooth cocktail. All right, hey, we're getting back to that grapefruit juice. To know it is to love it. Shot of Malort. So
Yep.
people complain about Malort. I actually like Malort a lot. So when I was in my early 20s, late teens, I decided to get healthy. And part of that, I don't know why, was I'm going to drink grapefruit juice every day. Just, that was health in my head.
There was definitely a phase in some time ago where drinking just juice all the time was the health craze, and people. My thoughts on nutritionists and dietitians are extensive and almost exclusively negative. So
I'm sure
I'll
we
just
have.
leave that as is.
I'm sure our Venn diagram is quite circular as much as can be, because as you know, circles don't exist because we don't know what pi is, everybody. Anyway, it's true. Yeah, so I bought grapefruit juice, and I didn't read the label, and I bought concentrated grapefruit juice. So I was drinking concentrated grapefruit juice every morning and going, it's good for me. And I eventually was able to do it without the grimace. And I think that's what Malort reminds me of. It's a little nostalgic, honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that concentrated grapefruit juice and Malort probably roughly around the same level of bitter. You're not wrong. I'm not saying I think that might be right. And Malort is kind of rough for folks who don't have a taste for that, but it is not the worst liquor that exists. I do have a bottle of Baijiu, cheap Baijiu, in my cabinet, and let me tell you, that is paint thinner.
It's funny you mention that. I don't have it down here. So my wife is Chinese, and when we met, I said, oh, I love gasoline whiskeys. It's great in the burn. It's like, well, if you want something, Baijiu. And she described it, tastes like trash, smells like fire. And she's not wrong. And I do have
That's
a bottle.
Exactly how it tastes and smells.
I got a bottle of the Prince upstairs. That usually comes out. It's good, but yeah. As she asks me to drink it outside, if I'm going to drink it, fair enough. When we go to the family, there's no
other liquor where they tell you should pour this in 16ths.
Okay,
that's the thing.
Here's where I was going. I didn't know that. I was drinking shots, and when I was meeting the family for one of the first Christmas dinners or whatever after we got married, I was talking with the cousins. I'm like, you really like that? I was like, oh yeah, it's great. Just pour a shot, take it. Like, what? And they went and got a shot glass, and they got the glass they drink it out of. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, I've made a terrible little mistake here.
Baijiu shots are supposed to be extremely small. They
Just a little sippy.
are basically barely touching, like covering your tongue. That's how light that they're supposed to be. And well, if you're just a white guy who's never known that, who didn't know that, maybe you've done an entire shot of Baijiu. I've done like 4 or 5. Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you how many. I do like it, but one will do you.
I don't. I'll say that. I don't.
Fair. A big wave. Nice, easy, simple beer.
Mhm.
Love it. Number 7, this was a twofer. Somebody donated. We also had, add in a drink. So hydrate and then a smoker's cough, which is one of those gimmick shots.
That's the you crack a full egg into that, right?
No, this is the dab of mayo.
Okay, gotcha. Fair enough.
Um,
Basically a full egg. Eggs go into mayo.
yeah, exactly. Another hydrate, but then we had another drink, which was the flavor. Are you familiar with the flavor?
I have tried the flavor before,
Awesome.
yes.
So in this house, we have the Bogner Memorial Cup in honor of
Mhm.
pro wrestler Rick Bogner, who was fake Razor Ramon. I believe he is still alive. We should still memorialize him and remember him. So you must pour it into the Bogner Memorial Cup. It is Gatorade Zero Lime Cucumber and some Mike's Harder Cranberry.
Yes. I actually don't remember it being specifically Gatorade Zero Lime Cucumber, but the regular version of that's actually genuinely very hard to find, whereas the light version is. So.
I think we maybe subbed it to that because that was the one we had easy to find. But yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I've had that a couple of times at other parties since because everybody's curious about the flavor. And yeah, there is a flavor. What is it?
It is.
It's flavor.
There is an interesting thing that goes on in your mouth there. It genuinely mostly cancels them out. Like the Mike's Harder Cranberry, you can taste it. It's there. The Lime Cucumber Gatorade, you can taste it. It's there. But both of them are much reduced compared to how they are by themselves. It's genuinely interesting.
It's a fun little science experiment.
I still have that container of Mike's Harder I have behind me. I've not touched it beyond that.
I'm very surprised. I have some leftovers from the next one, which was Mystery Beer Roulette. This was my favorite. So I took a bunch of painter's tape and I gaffed up a bunch of cans and just labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. That one was a really good one. We had a fun time with that. There was some ones where it was just, it's soda, it's seltzer water, and then it was, surprise, it is candy corn cider.
Ooh.
And again, it's,
Okay.
you're pounding them.
Yeah.
They gotta come
Candy
in.
corn cider,
Mm.
as in candy corn's flavor is just vanilla.
Yeah.
Is the candy corn cider, and it's also a cider, like
Yeah, a hard
apples
cider.
and everything. Okay, so that's just thinking about it, that's just a vanilla cider. That doesn't sound bad.
I drank that. I sent Ryuto one.
Mhm.
I don't. It definitely had vanilla, but it's. I've been hesitant to open it again. And I'm definitely
Okay.
I'm letting it age. kind of really letting it get the stuff. So like that I could put one of those into the incentive. Somebody could make me drink that cider. Who can say? But yeah, it wasn't. There was something else in there. Is what I'm getting at. The Ilion special.
Pickle juice is involved, correct?
Malort and then a pickleback. A Malort pickleback. I am also, as the two of us were talking last year, I had mentioned, my own, I said, what's with the pickles? And then I had shared, so pickles was my latchkey kid after school snack, and I have eaten all of the pickles I need to eat in my life. I pickled out. Kimchi's different. I'm, just talking your traditional, like, American
You're talking about
pickles.
pickled cucumbers
Yeah.
specifically,
Yes.
and probably specifically dill cucumber
Yeah.
pickles and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm good. But yeah, I did that, and, it was the argument everybody had, and I was a little sweaty at this point, because I believe I still had the weights on me.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, well, electrolytes. Like, shut up. Shut up. And then we had a big wave next.
You're not getting any hydration if it's a mixture of pickle juice and Malort.
You're not, no.
Malort's a 40 percent ABV
Oh, yeah.
drink, if I remember right.
Yeah,
There's no hydration in that.
Nah.
That is dehydrating you.
Yeah, we've had two hydrates in here, and we're about to enter drink 11. Big Wave, another light beer. We've had 2 of them. We went back.
Those will do. Those will give you a little bit of hydration.
Yeah,
Just a
that's
little.
why with the beer, you're crushing a light beer. It's
Yeah.
It's you're dialing it back to partying days, I suppose. We went back to the Mystery Beer Roulette.
Sure.
Nice.
Yep.
Then we went to the Wheel of the Worst Drinks. So the Wheel of the Worst Drinks.
Ooh, okay.
We have some choice ones in there that we haven't mentioned. We left in our discards the Hateful Highball, the Dirty Frenchman, the Flavor. We also had another Coach McGurk one, the yeast infection, which is take an 8-ounce glass, put in 1 shot of rum, and top it off with oat milk. Now, again, Midge said, Jeff, you have to do a nut milk. I live with you. You cannot drink something that will make you puke. Like the challenge of just keep boozing you fine, but not keep in something that's going to curdle. That's a step too far.
Also, like, drinking milk while you're working out is historically a bad combination.
Yeah. There's a number of episodes of your Jackass and Jackass type shows that kind of touch on what happens when milk.
Mostly full stomach voiding, just all out of you.
Rishi, the first doc to step in, his words or you are going to hurt yourself. And how many times did you puke was what he asked me afterwards, and I said I didn't hurt myself. And the answer was 0. Another drink, another Coach McGurk special. So you're going to fill a glass with some ice, you're going to put in 1 shot of whiskey, you're going to get a 1/4 teaspoon of some Chinese hot mustard, you're going to garnish it with a pimento and a parsley, and then fill that sucker up with some oat milk. Again, this was a Midge. You cannot use dairy milk, you need nut milk. The Chinese hot mustard actually makes that a really good drink. It's quite good.
Yeah, not surprising actually. Like with all of the rest of that, starts with. Yeah, it sounds mostly fine.
Yeah.
Like
It's a whiskey drink.
like a bunch of hot that will get your nose really, really excited, to say the least. But
yeah, one of my old roommates from Portland. This was his drink when he was back in college. He swears him and his roommate used to drink it on the weekends. They said it was great when they were setting up the massive. They were tabletop board game folks. They had the Star Trek one that they said is like 9 feet long, and they would drink this while playing it. The Rhonda Jeremy. You're going to take an 8-ounce glass. You're going to put in 1 shot of whiskey, and you're going to top that off with some Ovaltine.
okay, it's a lot of creamy whiskeys going on. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you. They specifically said that you really got to start it good, but you're gonna get there will be chunks. There will be chunks.
Yeah,
chunks
of course.
Chunks are gonna be there.
So they would drink that over the course of playing a war game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's all right. That sits around for a while, huh?
They were computer scientists. Maybe there's something there with it too. I was to say. I wasn't there at the time, but I have seen him drink it. He would usually use Old Granddad.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, geez. The Gonster. Once again, in the Bogner Memorial Cup. Rick Bogner, rest wherever you are. Sweet Prince.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take a can of Guinness, and then you're going to float on top of that some Monster Energy drink. We did the white. Some people were saying you got to do the green. Again, Divine Bright Image, we felt like maybe not energy drinks. If you're going to be stair-stepping for at least 6 hours, maybe more, maybe you don't need to go crazy with energy drinks. And I agreed.
Mm-hmm. I have done some taste tests with 10 different flavors of Monster mixed with other kinds of booze, and let me tell you, most of those are horrendous to mix with stuff.
Was that the Matrix image that's going around of Monster and hard stuff, and they have the silly names? Because that's one that's it's on the dartboard for maybe we're going to implement some.
I have done that. So someone on Twitter back in the day posted doing this with Mountain Dew and then the various kinds of booze. Very funnily, they forgot that gin existed. So the final category was wine.
Oh no!
And the first 2 of those I did because I did in fact taste all of those except for the ones that were hard Mountain Dew mixed with things.
Yeah.
Because hard Dew is only available in like 4 states.
We have it here. We have it.
Yeah, we don't have it in Mass. So
it's for the best.
Yeah, I'm sure. I had no expectation of it ever being good.
It's
so
a flavor.
Instead, I added 2 new columns replacing that one because there was a couple of flavors of Mountain Dew that weren't used. I think it was orange, like the mango one, and Baja Gold. And so I made that. I got that from 45 to 50, and 2 of those were completely mine. It was a good stream, great time. Most of those were also bad. Mixing those with booze. Did it again later on with a different drink. And I think I've done it 6 times now. So I have technically made 270 or 260 and named 260 cocktails.
Hey,
Cocktails in quotes. They're just a drink with the booze in it. That's not really a
I'm
cocktail.
it's
you know.
maybe I got the right guy to come in for cocktail talk here. I got one last. I hope you're ready for it. This is a very good cocktail. It's a very good cocktail. There is video of me making and drinking it and talking it over with the creator. But you need to remember, I have to pound it. I don't get to sip it. This is Ryudo's perfectly cromulent drink. We're going to shake over ice, a shot of gin, a shot of mimosa premix, and I don't know if you've heard of this. Some Carolina Reaper rum.
I have not, but I can immediately. I know exactly what it is from being, introduced it.
It's nice. So yeah, shake it over.
Pepper-based liquors actually are usually pretty nice.
Yeah, no,
They're nice.
Our friend from Carolina brought it up, and kind of as a gag, but no, it's good, and yeah, no, it's a good one. So we're gonna shake it over some ice. We're gonna strain it into a glass full of ice. Top it off with some Old Bay seasoning.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
As in like around the rim, or just
shake
spray
it
on
in.
top? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Like you would nutmeg on
got
a different drink.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's a very good sit and sip drink. Pounding it. Pounding it.
Pounding it, I can feel that.
Can imagine?
I can feel how that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing though. We had another mystery
So
beer.
like, did you enjoy having like 2-inch tunnels from your nose to your throat for a while, or?
We had to reach a compromise. So there was another mystery beer, another Wheel of the Worst, another mystery beer, another mystery beer. People were upset that Ryudo's drink didn't show up. I had separate incentives for Ryudo and Ilyan's drinks to just, you can pluck them from the wheel and make me drink them next. And I will insert them directly next into the queue. So they brought up Ryudo's, but then somebody paid for the incentive, which was basically the escape lever for me that the audience can use. The peanut gallery has to drink the next drink, and then I can either choose, or if I am not able to choose, Midge will say, you're going to drink a Big Wave, or you're going to drink a Gatorade. So as I think I was taking a sip of that, it came through, and I passed it off to dear friend Yami and Yami's wife, and they drank that. And they did admit it was very good, and they said, I have no idea how you were going to chug this. So I guess, narrowly dodged the bullet. I'll put it back in this year. I'll put it in. We still got the ingredients. You can tell perhaps the wheel was falling off the cart at this point. This is last year's sheet. It's been hanging out. There's 2 blank spots because they forgot to write down what was going on. It's in the video. I got it tagged, but I think it's funnier that I don't look it up to write it down. And then the final one was Stone Cold Steve Austin 2 beers after defeating Gwyn. Put Fire Grandpa to bed and really, really have that celebration. There was a Gallagher Splash Zone taped up. I was fully committed to having that beer bash. I was so exhausted. I said, there is physically no way I can do this. And my friend the Monster, who is, again, my buddy I used to live with in Boston, still up in Mass, that I go visit, said, I gotcha. And so, we kind of did a cheers and we drank it together. So I still feel, I said 2 beers would get drunk, 2 beers got drunk. I did. I was on there for like 7.5 hours. I did 40,000 steps. I think I earned that rest at that point.
Monkey rap.
And speaking of Ryudo, I mentioned he helped me make a drink last year. You're
Right,
kind of a
okay.
food guy. You're kind of a cocktail guy. I think we need to make a signature cocktail.
Okay.
And I have some ingredients. So let me reach into the trash and get my goodies. Got my lovely towel my wife got me. A nice surprise. If we're gonna do bar, we're doing bar. All right, our goods. Svedka mango pineapple. We got this as a wedding gift. We have been married for 6 years. It is somehow still, it just does not empty. I don't know. So
I mean, getting a flavored vodka as a gift, those never get finished. I've never seen one get finished.
it's about here. I got really into doing frozen fruit, Blanca Rita, whatever's over the summer, just to try and use it up. And
my buds from back in the day, you know, the friend group I had through like all of high school after that and things like that. When I was in high school, they got a bottle of, for some reason, birthday cake vodka. The last time I saw them in person was probably around, you know, about 7 years ago, well after, not even 7 years, it was like more like 6, about like 6 years ago. And they absolutely still had most of that bottle. You know, it was just hanging out for the entire time, never being used, but also never thrown away because it's not going to go bad. It's just,
No.
it was already bad.
yeah, how much worse could it get, Michael?
Mhm.
Right. We have gin, you know, Seagram's.
He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well.
Yeah. We got a Reaper.
Okay.
My wife told me to bring up our, you know, corn whiskey moonshine.
Okay.
Malort.
Mhm.
We love Malort. And, ooh, geez, how could I forget? Fireball. Nice and easy. So easy to mix.
Classic.
Yeah. We have mixers, by the way. We have some Milo. Ooh, it's green, I forgot! So basically it's Ovaltine, if you're not familiar with Milo.
Right.
Moxie, say no more. You know Moxie.
Good old Moxie.
Good old
I
Moxie.
know Moxie.
Yeah.
I do not like it. I'm sorry to say. I am not a Moxie fan, but I am very well aware of and do have a container of it just because.
The first time I visited Maine back in high school, a bunch of people realized that the group I was with hadn't had Moxie. They rushed out, got it, came back, gave it to us. As we were about to sip it, they said, wait, don't fight the aftertaste. And that's the best advice I can give about drinking Moxie when you haven't had it before. Or even when you have.
He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well.
We got some orange and some aromatic bitters.
Okay.
And
I do love me some bitters.
oh, bitters are nice. And if you're not familiar with True Lime and True Lemon, you know, why squeeze a lime or a lemon when you can just have the crystallized little packets to pour into your drink and have the same effect? They're portable. It's great. All right. We got the Bogner. I got a bottle. I got a measurer. What's going where, how, why, and when?
Okay, so I'm thinking you're gonna do. It's not gonna be equal parts.
Sure.
I think. So we're gonna go with. Because I'm of the persuasion of the Northeast. I think there is going to have to be some Moxie in this.
Absolutely.
Gonna go with Moxie and gin. I
Okay.
brought up a gin Moxie thing earlier. I genuinely think those mix very well.
Okay.
It's a floral on floral flavor, and it's nice.
Sure.
You know. So we're gonna do Moxie and gin. Those two can probably be nearly equal parts, I'd say.
Okay.
And then I guess some of the club soda just to be your water because you don't have like I'm assuming the little packets.
Yeah.
They're crystallized, right? So you need to mix that into some. So yeah, the club soda will be our water in this situation to mix into that to have the juice, basically.
Okay. I'll put the Ovaltine
A little
away,
bit of
I guess.
lime.
Okay.
Put the Ovaltine away,
Yeah.
please. Yes. Don't need that.
Don't need that. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Lime packet.
And then what are the two kinds of bitters you got?
We have orange and aromatic.
Go with the aromatic, not the orange.
Got it. All right. Orange can go away.
Yeah.
Do
I'm thinking basically.
we need the Malort
Moxie
or the
gin.
mango? Just want to check in.
I'm trying to make something decent here.
Okay. So I'll leave these out. I will take the others away. I will hide the poison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally back to kick some tail. Here's a coconut gun.
A little bit of lime and a little bit of aromatic bitters, I think, will kind of like finish that out a little, is what I'm feeling.
Got it. All right. So think about call it an ounce, two
Sure,
ounces.
go with an ounce of both. Why not? Let's make something small, so just in case.
Yeah, we're just testing. I'll have this whole can to drink on my own later.
Yeah. Or, you know, you can mix up a whole can's worth.
I could. I'm sure my wife would love to drink the Moxie.
Mhm.
She actually went to the Moxie Fest with me back when we first started dating and I was living up in Brunswick. It's fun.
Mhm.
There's all sorts of Moxie merch, believe it or not.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, up in Maine, we do love that stuff.
I'm
What?
actually from the city that Moxie was first made.
Well, I mean, as I say,
Lowell,
which I know is
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, specifically Lowell, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Is the origin town of Moxie.
Yeah, we can just top you off, I figure. It's like a half
That's-
scene.
I think you're gonna need more Moxie and gin if you're gonna have that much.
Okay.
Of
I'll
that
just
going on.
eyeball it. I'll just eyeball it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, we're just doing some science.
Mhm.
I'm a mathematician, okay? I'm not a chemist. Bear with me here. Yeah, that's
And then probably like a good 3 healthy dashes of the bitters.
sure. 3 healthy dashes. I can do 3. 3 is my favorite prime number, you know? Yeah, that's good.
Looks good to me.
It smells nice. I can already smell it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's oh man. So what I like to do with my Pepsi is put the packets in there. If you've ever had the actual like lime Pepsis from Canada, or when they do the specials, I'm kind of getting that whiff right away.
Mm-hmm.
And now, yeah, like later the linger, it's kind of getting a little floral. I'll see how it goes. Okay, I think you add ice to this. You got a winner.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, absolutely should be cold.
Yeah.
I completely just straight up.
Oh, it's all room temp
basic
right
one
now.
there.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah,
a basement.
exactly.
But no,
Mhm.
I think we knocked one out of the park. I'll keep these out, Bogner. Love you,
Like I
Bogner.
said before, if you had the tools for it, I would definitely recommend you put in, instead of the lime and bitters, it would be instead a spritz of absinthe into the cup, and then a couple of drops of rose water. Weirdly enough,
You know,
or
my-
just a drop of rose water.
Can fire in spurts if he shoots ya. It's got
When I did the Moxie one, Moxie was only going to be one category because there's not like variant flavors of Moxie for the most part.
No.
There's diet in that, and that's it.
There's energy Moxie. I
so-
remember seeing that at one point when I was
Yeah.
up north.
So this was when I did Fago and Moxie at the same time,
You know what? I want to try that.
and the names I gave for the Moxie cocktails, if you want to use any of these,
Sure.
are Angostura Shitters,
I mean, I used I'm used the aromatic. That's okay.
Cape Cod Sunset,
Ooh,
a Rum and Cope if it was with rum.
Hmm.
It's not.
no.
The Boot Mill Swill, or the one we did with gin, which was the Gin and Toxic.
I like gin and toxic. I gotta say that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Written down. It's in the sheet. That's great. I just I got one more question then, since we're drinked out
yeah?
here. Doc, sword.zone. What do you think about this sword? My wife told me I couldn't marry her unless I got her a sword. So I got her a
fair.
sword.
Mhm.
I would,
And that is specifically a dadao, I think.
yeah, yep.
Yeah. The it's a Chinese war sword from I think it's that specific design. I think is early 1800s. Actually, it is a later thing than you'd think, which is true of a lot of Chinese swords. The iconic Dao shapes are actually mostly from the early 1800s. They're much later than people would expect them to be.
Yeah, when she told me sword, I said, okay. I wanted to get her, Guts' sword. I wanted to get her, the Dragon Slayer. Unfortunately, at the time, there were only cosplay foam replicas. My wife is about 5'1", so you could see why I thought that was funny. The other thing about our wedding is her half was, largely the Chinese half, and mine was largely the Italian half. And this ceremony had no basis in either, so each one thought it was the other one's thing, and we thought that was
Yeah.
hilarious. She gave me a
good.
gift. Would you like to see what I got?
really, I would in a second.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that you just have one of those like bike like clips on the end of that instead of like a ring. That's really funny to me.
I used to hang it on the wall at our old apartment
Hmm.
because it was Smart House. Yeah, she gave me a cup.
Yeah, it's a nice looking cup.
You can drink out of a cup.
Yeah, that's more useful than a sword.
This one says, work hard, stay humble on it, which I think is sage advice.
Mhm. Speaking from someone who owns 4 swords, right?
Yeah.
And for you know, a quote unquote sword guy, that's a really low number. A cup is a more useful gift than a sword is.
You say that. You say that. Well, it's plug time, and you have the best plug anybody has said. Trans rights. You can't see it.
Absolutely.
It says trans rights on the screen. There's production values. Oh man, I put some time in. Ooh, it's right over there. That's a beautiful thing. I'm looking at it. Yeah, no, I
As
did.
always, there is a ton of terrible legislation that's going on at any given time. So if you have the opportunity to do so, please call your congressmen and senators and whatnot and tell them to oppose such legislation and whatnot on a federal level, and of course local ones as well. And that's actually probably more important in most cases, especially these days.
Yeah, no, we during some of the minor spotty streams, I was doing matching for, if you donate to My Extra Life, I matched to the Trans Lifeline. I know, Doc, you were part of the big one. Ty organized, and
Picker
Cobuddy was part of it, and all of them.
Trans
That
Am,
was
somehow
awesome.
managed to make the Picker Trans Am somehow managed to make $50,000, absolutely way so much well and beyond the our expectations that it was you know, we were scrambling to come up with new stuff and incentives the entire way through, you know.
Yeah, no, that was an amazing batch of time to just be watching things going. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I have everybody's got a trans friend. You know somebody. It's like the old I had a
almost certainly
teacher that it was a very wise dude that compared it to, it was an older guy starting, and he's like, Jeff, it's just like when everybody was saying, oh, what about the gays teach? It's like, you already know gay people, they just don't tell you. You know trans people, they don't tell you, or they do, and just don't be an asshole. What if you weren't an asshole? It's wild.
It is more likely to know someone who is than to know any individual person of any given birthday of the year, Like, oh, you're thinking like, oh yeah, I probably know someone whose birthday is like January 10th or whatever. It's actually more common that likely that you know a trans person and you just don't know,
If you're a deep math head, Doc just brought up the birthday paradox, which you don't need a lot of
did.
people in a room to have 2 people with the same birthday. The odds,
Also true.
quite
Yes.
there.
It is weirdly simultaneously 1 in 365 and also more likely at the same time.
It's fun. That's
Mhm.
math. Well, geez, twitch.tv/mdct for more Doc, sword.zone for more Doc. Doc, again, you're a full-timer at this. I made my hobby my job once, and I don't do that anymore. So in this house, we respect people who do it. I can't, and we can't.
Mhm.
Doc, thank you so much. This has been a blast.
Absolutely, no problem. It's
Swords.
been a good time for me as well.
Swords.
I do love them.
Yeah.
Don't buy like 30 of them on an infomercial sale though. Don't do that.
He's bigger, faster, and stronger